Hey girl, my name is Anel. Welcome to the Brave in Her podcast, where we inspire, empower, and motivate by sharing our stories of bravery. I strongly believe that by sharing our stories, we open ourselves to healing, but also serve to give hope and inspiration to those who are dealing with a tough situation. We will talk about all topics under the sun. Now let's hear your stories of bravery. Hey girl, thank you for being here for today's episode. This is part 2 of my kidney disease story. In this episode, I will talk about my kidney transplant journey. First, if you want to know more about my kidney disease journey, I want to invite you to go to listen to part 1, where I talk about how I was diagnosed with kidney disease and how it affected my childhood. Okay, so now about my kidney transplant story. So as I mentioned in part 1, I was born with kidney disease, and at the age of 12 years old, I started dialysis. I remember the day that I got the surgery for the fistula. If you don't know what a fistula is, it's like a protective connection from your blood vessel to that is used for dialysis. And what is dialysis? It's a process where the blood gets filtered / clean. So anyway, the process is where you have a fistula, and when you go into a dialysis center, the dialysis nurse will have to stick 2 like really thick needles. First, they have to numb because the area, because the needles are pretty thick. I mean, almost 25 years later, I still have the scars. So so it's 2 needles. Through 1 needle, your blood comes out, and it goes through this dialysis machine, which, filters / clean your blood, because your kidney is not able to clean it. And then through the second needle, your blood safely comes into your body, already filtered. And so I did that for about a month. I remember going on Tuesdays and Saturdays for about 3 hours each day. My dialysis nurse, Irene, was always waiting for me with a blueberry muffin. And my mom will always take me to get chicken nuggets before going into dialysis. I wasn't able to eat like potatoes or anything like that because since my kidney wasn't working, I couldn't have any potassium, and I had to kind of limit my protein too. So anyway, I will go on Tuesdays and Saturdays. I don't remember much about the Tuesdays that I will go to, but I remember kind of clearly the Saturdays that I will go, because I remember sitting in the dialysis chair, getting my blood clean while I was watching Control. I don't know if you remember Control, but it's like the Spanish version of TRL. And I remember like around that time is when Shakira was coming out, and so I remember watching her music videos. I don't remember who else was the it person at that time, but I clearly remember Shakira. So my surgery for the fistula was done at the end of July of 1996, and I also had a temporary I can't remember what it's called, but something temporary that was sticking out of the left side of my chest. I actually still have the scars for that. So it was temporary while my fistula healed. So they will do dialysis through there. And I remember one time actually, I was in dialysis and the power went out. That was kind of scary, but the power came back on like almost immediately. But I don't know why I just remember that. Anyway, so my surgery was the end of July. And at this time, I was pulled out of school because dialysis will make me like extra tired. I was already tired as it is because my kidney wasn't working, but just something about dialysis that makes you like super tired. Like the day of. And my arm will also get really swollen. I remember just sitting down. I remember at that time that Super Nintendo came out. So I remember always playing because, I mean, I didn't have anything else to do. I couldn't really run or play outside because I was always so tired. So I would just play with my Super Nintendo and my arm would get like really swollen. I guess from all the water retention I was having. And, but I don't remember much because I think I blocked a lot of my childhood and up to the point where I got the transplant. So right before, like before my transplant, I remember, you know, pieces here and there, but I don't remember like a whole lot. Again, I think because I just blocked those that time, or maybe I was just too tired to remember things. I don't know. And then so a month later, almost exactly a month after I got the fistula surgery, it was on a Thursday, August 29th at around 6 p.m. the phone rang. And it was a doctor telling my parents that there was a kidney waiting for me at the hospital. I remember the date and time. I remember exactly it was a Thursday night because we were getting ready to go to church, to go to the missionettes. We were in the missionettes. So I remember clearly. And so it was around 6 p.m. when we were getting ready to go. So anyway, we got the call, or my parents got the call. And so they rushed me to the hospital. And like around 3 or 4 in the morning, the next day, on Friday, August 30th, I was being rolled into the 6th floor for surgery. This transplant changed my life for sure, for the better. And it's all thanks to my donor and my donor's family. This transplant not only saved my life, but it also gave me a better quality of life. Before the transplant, I was always super tired. And I kid you not, the second I woke up from surgery, I felt a million times better. I felt all this energy that I had never, ever before. I've never felt it. In school, like before the transplant, I was getting D's and F's because I just couldn't focus. And after a transplant, immediately after, like as soon as I went back to school, I was getting straight A's. And that's because now, you know, the transplanted kidney was working and doing what kidneys are supposed to do, which is clean the blood, right? Or filter the blood. And I was able to focus. But things were not always, you know, rainbows and butterflies. It wasn't just like, oh, I got the kidney transplant and now everything's so wonderful and beautiful and nothing ever goes wrong. It's not like that. So while I was able to focus in school, also, you know, my body was adjusting to the immunosuppressants that will, you know, that I would have to take for the life of my kidney transplant. Hopefully it's forever, like for life, but maybe at some point I would need another kidney transplant. And at that point, I will have to stop these medications and I don't know, it will have to be adjusted. Anyway, and you know, all the side effects of these medications. So I'm here, you know, I'm 12 years old in middle school. And already my body is changing, right? But on top of that, my body was adjusting to these immunosuppressants and all the side effects of the medication, such as constant stomach aches, nausea, hair loss, weight gain, unwanted facial hair, and many others. The most noticeable for me were weight gain, and I got really super puffy cheeks that I still do. I still have those super puffy cheeks because of the prednisone. I've been on prednisone for almost 25 years. Also, while in middle school, I was struggling with making any friends. I literally had no friends. During nutrition and lunch, I would hang out by myself. I couldn't make any friends because I wasn't in school constantly enough to get to know my peers. During the 3 years of middle school, I missed easily 6 months, and that was just for surgeries. I had 2 major surgeries and maybe 1 or 2 smaller surgeries during my middle school time. And then I was also out a lot due to doctor appointments and hospital stays. Like I remember after the transplant, I will be in the hospital maybe once a month, once every other month because of urine infections, which is quite common with kidney transplants. And as a result, I couldn't make friends because I wasn't constantly in school. And so the only time that other students would talk to me was to copy my math homework. Because like I mentioned, as soon as I came back from, after getting the kidney transplant, I was getting straight A's. Like everything came so easy to me because I was able to focus. And then I was known as the sick girl. So that left me, I guess, with trauma. Luckily, I went to a high school that most of my classmates didn't go. So it was a chance to have, a fresh start. And I made it kind of a goal for no one, like absolutely no one, to know about my illness because I didn't want to be labeled as a sick girl. My middle school experience just left me traumatized. I didn't want to just carry that label with me. Until this day, like I don't like to talk about it, but whenever I do think about it, I remember, and it serves me as a reminder of how strong God made me and how resilient I've been since birth. I can't even imagine my kid or my nieces going through an experience like the one I went through. My heart goes out to all the kids that are dealing with a chronic illness because, that is definitely something that is so tough. And then, in high school, almost no one knew, only like really close friends, or maybe they knew like I had an illness, but they didn't know like exactly what was going on because again, like I didn't like talking about it. I just wanted to fit in and make friends. I simply wanted to be a teenager, a normal teenager and experience the normal teenager things. I wish I could sit here and tell you more on how my life changed due to this kidney transplant, but it would take me hours, if not days, because there's a whole list of, benefits that I received because of this kidney transplant. And all because, someone decided to be a hero and donate his organs. I am here alive because of my donor. I will always be grateful for my kidney donor, and I actually launched this podcast in honor of my kidney donor. I included a letter that I like, a letter that I read, or that I wrote and read to my donor in my first episode. So if you're curious to listen to it, go and listen to my first episode. And anyway, I know it's all God. God can only, he was the only one that gave me this kidney so fast after starting dialysis. Some people wait years before getting a life-saving transplant. Some people die waiting for a kidney transplant. And also God has kept my kidney healthy for 24 and a half years, almost 25 years this August. And that truly is, unheard of. I want to encourage you to consider registering to become an organ donor. And to register, please go to www.donatelive.net, or you can also register at your local DMV. I will put the link in the show notes in case you want to check it out. And thank you so much for listening to a small portion of my kidney disease journey. And remember, you are brave. I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this episode inspired you. If you like this podcast, please share on social media and tag me on Instagram @TheBraveInHer. I would love to hear your stories of bravery.